Hello, everybody. Welcome to Into Overtime podcast with me, Reapersteve, and Jammer, above, below, or side, whichever way the cameras are going to work out in the end. So, first episode with video cameras.
Yes.
Um, kind of, I look like crap. I know I do already. I've had a really rough weekend. Not going into it in this podcast. That's a story for in person at LAN, which we'll get to
Uh-huh.
in a little bit.
Okay.
Jammer's running the show basically for this one, more or less. Like I run last week's show with Cody. Jammer's going to run the show this week with our wonderful guest.
Yeah.
Should
Do
we
you
have
want to
our
introduce
wonderful
yourself,
guest introduce
Jakey?
yourself?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize I was gonna. You usually do. Okay, we have Jakey on today, who's a dear friend of Nick's and mine, and yeah, he's actually one of the most important people we've worked with, I would say, because that was how we got our first finals together.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, first grand finals for Epic Man
Yep.
last October, which is pretty nice. It was yeah, it was good. You can watch the VOD somewhere, I believe. I think there's a VOD out there somewhere for it. I haven't been able to find it yet, but apparently there is one out there. But yeah, it was our first grand finals together. But also, like, I've worked with Jakey for like 2 years now, more or less, on and off on different projects and schemes and all this other stuff that we've been getting up to. Like we did stuff for ESW back when I first started commentary for Esports Wales. Jakey was the guy who set that up essentially, who like said, "Hey, come and do CS commentary for Esports Wales." And now, like a year and a bit later, I get John in my DMs going like, "Hey, are these rates still agreeable with you?" And like a businessman type thing. Although I don't think we're doing that much this season with Esports Wales, which it is what it is. But we are looking at doing other bits and pieces for them. But yeah, I did a few bits and bobs with Jakey. Jakey, do you want to give us a run through of all the things that you do? Because it's like I can give you like a smidgen list of the things that I've done with Jakey, but Jakey's done like the list is never ending. It feels.
Yeah, so even for me, it's a little bit of a struggle to remember everything that I've worked on. So when I first got back, when I first got into esports, it was actually with Esports Wales back in late 2018, November 2018. I joined them as a stream manager, provisionally working on making a stream team. Then I started looking into more of the esports production side of things. And then from there, I started working freelance. I've worked with Blast, ESL, DreamHack, all sorts of names, a lot of UK organisations, Guild, and now I work full time for G2 Esports as an online events manager. And through that, I actually managed to go to the PGL Major back in November, the first, proper arena event for CS:GO since the global situation forced us to go online. And never in my life did I think I'd be able to go to a major, let alone be working for one of the teams that made it to the grand final. Disappointingly losing.
Weird
Yeah.
flex, but okay, like yeah, I remember messaging you during PGL, and I was messaging you on Discord, and I was like, "Bro, I can't believe you're there," and I'm sat in my office. I'm sat downstairs, like in a little work from home office, working for my company, and I have laptop in front of me. I have my tablet to the right hand side of me, and like this big like 52-inch TV because it's our old, it's technically our dining room still. And on the TV, I have PGL playing, and then I have HLTV on the tablet. And I'm like checking all the stuff that's going on, and then I have Jakey on my phone going like, "It's wild here." I'm just like,
I,
well, I'm sat in Wales.
I still, well, even when I was there, I couldn't believe I was there.
Yeah.
We turned up to the arena on, I think, the Wednesday to have a quick tour around with our contact at PGL, and even just seeing all of the prep work going into, building the stage and the production, because although the online streams of it weren't exactly amazing, as I found out after through various sources, the in-person stuff was spot on. There was no issues. The stage was amazing. PGL did a great job at making the first arena LAN back just the best it could be, and then we had Blast shortly after, which just raised the bar tenfold. And I can't wait to go to a Blast event. I hope we get to go to one soon, to be honest.
I do this every time Blast is first up on the podcast, but please give them a major. Like, I think that would be unbelievable to
It,
watch.
it wouldn't.
Just
It
the
wouldn't surprise
production.
me. It would not
Yeah.
surprise me if they get one very soon. But Valve have their own decision making, and just for some reason they haven't given Blast one yet. I don't know what those reasons are, but maybe we'll see one this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a handy subject to like kind of come on to in a way, because I think Jammer wants us to talk a bit about the spring groups that are currently being played right now for the last chance, but like some of the group stages that have already happened. Jammer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so we've had like a bunch of different matches the groups have kind of gone through, and we know who has kind of like booked in their spots for the spring finals. So I'll give a quick rundown of that, and then we can talk about our thoughts and feelings about it. So from first to third, you've got FaZe, OG, Vitality, who have all booked their place and have got 27.5 grand each. That's a pretty nice bargain there. But fourth to sixth place is one of the games is still going on for fourth to sixth place, but so far booked in is Navi and G2. From seventh to ninth, we've got NIP, MIBR, and the loser of the game that is going on right now. And then 10 to 12 is Evil Geniuses, Liquid, and Complexity. So NA is not doing good right now.
Stewie 2K's first like big punt of the game at a tournament, though, in fairness, like. And I think coming in, we talked about this like very briefly last episode with Cody. I think single elimination in NA is a big killer, so to see 3 NA teams kind of within that top 10 bracket or top 12 bracket it's still pretty good nonetheless. Anyway, same with like the new iterations of Liquid and the new iterations of Complexity as well. First kind of big punts at tournaments. Or group stages, I should say, for tournaments.
I'm not sure if you know this, Nick, but there were
only 12 teams in it, mate. So
I'm really
they can't guarantee top 12.
I've
had like the worst 24 hours of my entire life. Okay,
but no, it was.
You know what I mean? Look, for like, I'm trying to justify myself. I can't really justify myself here, lads. So I've dug a hole. Enjoy the laugh.
I will devil's advocate you and back you up, saying that we saw some decent CS out of them.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like there were blowouts. These teams are very new. They've had new additions with Nitro. The EG is just a brand new squad with Automatic and Rush, and Complexity's kind of like trying to find their footing. But like all of these teams will take the experiences that they've got from Blast and probably come back strong.
You can't save me, Jammer. I'm already dug in.
I mean, I fully agree with Jammer. Like, even the first group stage for G2, Complexity took 12 rounds off us on Nuke, and Nuke was the map that when we were at the major, we almost took off Navi after they were on a 17 map winning streak. So I know it was G2's first foray into the new roster. It was still pleasing to see from Complexity, and they really did have some good rounds going into that map. So yeah, NA could come out strong. They just need to get their footing, and a lot of the games went to OT. In fact, all of Liquid's games during the group stage went to OT.
Yeah.
2 of them going to FaZe 1915 and 1917, and then they beat EG 1917. So the Liquid side could be good. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes moving forward. Having Nitro back in. I'm not sure if Nitro has he took under the role of IGLing back.
He's calling,
yeah, he's calling.
So it was under his reign that they went on the the unbelievable run where they made the Intel Grand Slam. I know it's a slightly different lineup, having OC and Shocks in there as well, but once they get their footing, Team Liquid could be one of those formidable teams again that people are worried about going against. So
I think we should probably pass comment on Group B as well. I mean, like last podcast, me and Cody basically just skipped Group B. Like more or less, we were going, what's Navi's group?
Yeah.
I mean, easy win for the first couple of games, maybe against MIBR. Okay, they may struggle going up against like Astralis if they beat OG, or they probably wouldn't against OG, and like flicking back and forth between that idea of it, and then all of a sudden you go into the first game against MIBR and they lose like 16 16-10 or 16-11, wherever it is, and you just sit there going like, "Oh, okay." That's a bit of a yikes moment. But then, like, it feels like almost that they're just saving things to move forward with other stuff. 4th and 5th finishing is pretty good. Within a group stage of 12.
No, honestly,
If you could,
know
like,
I'm gonna get.
when you edit the video of this, can you just like go from 3 screen to 1 on the realization of my face when I go, "Oh, wait, there's only 12 teams." Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get called out as well because I'm pretty sure in the last podcast I was like, "All right, so Navi's gonna get to the finals. Who do you
I think
think
we
is
all
gonna get
did.
there with them?"
Yeah, no, me,
But
you, and Cody, but we all pretty much
I
said
mean,
the exact same
everyone
thing.
would have made that call. When I was talking to a G2 fan that I was having a conversation with about the groups, I made a prediction. Oh yeah, Navi should easily make it to the final, and then depending on how OG come out with Nexa being in there, I wouldn't be surprised in seeing them. And then I watched the MIBR game and watched Navi crumble on Dust 2 against them, and it was insane because Dust 2 is one of Navi's base maps. It's one of the ones that they're happy to go to. They don't ban it. They don't necessarily pick it in a best of 3, but they're happy to let it go there, and they just didn't show up. And then even against Astralis, who are now struggling up against Big. They're currently 9-0 down, I think, on the second map in the best of 3. Oh, 8-2, sorry.
8-2, yeah. I've just pulled it up in the background. I'm not watching it, obviously. I'm focusing entirely on the podcast, but I've got the scores up in the background. I haven't watched any CS today, so I'm looking at HLTV as we speak, and now seeing Navi basically just battering NIP and winning that one back. So I'm pretty happy with that, though. Was it Dust 2 as well as... No, sorry, Nuke and Overpass. Ooh, 16-6 on Nuke. Tasty. That one might be one to go back and watch.
Simple decided to actually show up.
Really? Okay, cool. I'll watch that after. I might watch that one back before I go to bed after. But yeah, I think, Blast is... from the games I have watched of Blast, and again, like, it's been really weird because, again, I'm in this, like, hybrid working environment. I work from home, working from an office. So, like, some days I can watch CS if I'm not too busy with work. Other days I can't. So, like, the games that I have watched, the production quality from Blast has been, like, incredible. Like, it just... They don't seem to, like, drop back at all for any of the events. They just seem to, like, get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. So, I think, group stage now over with, more or less, with this last game going on. I wonder if it'll finish before we finish.
Honestly, the way Astralis are crumbling, they might.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Unless Astralis make an unreal comeback and, force map 3 out of Big. And it's going to be over.
Dust 2?
Dust 2 right now.
Dust 2. Yeah, okay.
And then Mirage
third. I don't see them coming back, unfortunately, boys. That's just me. Sorry, I derailed the conversation. Speaking of Blast, by the way, as well, I just saw on HLTV while I was flicking through it, Ready Up's been released by them, the documentary from the full final. 100% watching that as well today. It would have been nice to see that before we did this, so we could all get our own set of perspectives on it. Have either of you two watched it yet?
Not yet,
no.
Okay, that'll be one for next time then, for definite. It's like a 40-odd, 50-odd minute documentary about the four finals.
It's mainly focusing around Carrigan,
Cadian and Device.
Yeah, Device,
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
Yeah.
I feel one team that's kind of slipped under the radar during Blast is FaZe.
Yes.
They've done extremely well, but it's not well. I say extremely well. They've done well considering the form before, the player break. Like full finals, they weren't doing exactly great, and then in the best of 3 against Big yesterday, we had Brokey go 21-1. The only round he died in was the round that they lost on a 16-1 win on Nuke.
Yeah. You think of the climb though for the core of that team, going from like, I think it was summertime last year, they dropped out to like the top 40, I think it was, or dropped out of the top 40 teams, and then to like climb, like literally chunk all the way back up to getting into like the top 10 ranks, top 5, like flirting with top 10, sometimes dropping in and out. Yeah, that core is definitely like a silent runner. Like they they hit hard when they want to hit hard, and then all of a sudden they can just like drop back. Rops is now playing for them as well, so
Yep.
so I think that's a good addition to bring into the side. I don't know how he's been with them like 2-3 months, or was it only this year he joined them?
He joined from like mid-January or start of January, yeah. So
Yeah.
just well, basically a month now.
It's good.
Yeah, honestly, been really impressed with the FaZe roster, and I think in one of the last like mini content pieces, they were asking players like who they think the dark horse is, and everyone said FaZe pretty much from what they released. I don't know if all the players said that, but
No.
yeah, really impressed with FaZe, and I've actually been quite impressed with OG. I forget whether it was you or Cody. I think it was you actually, Nick, that said that OG with Nexa is actually going to be better than G2 with Alexi, and for like their placings right now, you've been proven right. I think we'll see how it ends up in the long run because
I remember the caveat with it was like, I think he's going to be. I think he's a great addition to the team. I think they've come off the better in the sense of the trade, but I think they come off the better over a longer period of time. Like it's one of those ones where it's a slow burner. Like you could see him jump into the groups. I think is what I was referring to, and like hit hard and whatever, and like go the distance. Or you could see it being like a really slow burner where it takes a couple of onliners to like get him into the kind of big swing of things. I've been kind of proven right, but I'm gonna get proven wrong at some point. Like, do you know what I mean? We all know that. Like,
I think
I don't have the luck
until like Monacy can be fully developed into the talent that we know he is. Because right now, what I'm seeing from Monacy, from the games that I have seen, is that he's like really keen to go out there and get the openings. Like he had something insane. Like I don't remember actually the statistic, but he had a really high opening percentage, but his overall rating wasn't that high. So like I'm not sure. Once we see Monacy's true form, then I think we can really see where G2 can go. But Nico is popping off, so yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
What was I don't know if we can ask you this question, Jakey, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and then you can choose to answer or not. How did you feel about the trade?
Obviously, I'd heard the rumors, and internally, we get a bit more information, so we knew, a while before anything became
something
public.
Was up, kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah. It's certainly interesting. Obviously, we held a lot of love for Nexa. He did a lot for the team. Same with Amanek. They've both been on G2 for the longest time, and they've done some amazing things. We got to a major final with them both, so it's not exactly like they were a bad fit for the team. It worked. It just wasn't fully clicking, and now we seen today with Alexi calling on Inferno against MIBR. He was calling everything perfectly, and if we're able to do that again with Alexi doing exactly what he's supposed to do, call rounds to win, which he did today amazingly, then I do see us actually being able to challenge Na'Vi this time. So I see where you're coming from, where you say the trade betters OG in the long run, but if things continue the way that they are right now for G2, then I see us, continuously challenging Na'Vi and pushing them further and further into, into best of threes and best of
the
five.
way these two teams have like kind of fallen out initially from this trade is really interesting to me, because OG's ratings have like they're all consistently good. There's no real like big star player, whereas on G2 it's the complete opposite. Like Nico is like head and shoulders above everyone else, and then you kind of got some not straddlers at the bottom, but like heavier supports. Jax hasn't been doing the hottest recently, but he fills a role that they need him to do. So yeah, it's really interesting to see like how these two teams approach the game. Another team that I wanted to talk about briefly is MIBR, because I think coming into this, a lot of people are expecting these guys to come out like at the bottom. Like they didn't really expect anything out of MIBR, and I think we've seen some really good CS out of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Cello's like been kind of outperforming everyone at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Like he's shown his quality through and through, quite on quite a number of occasions now. But I think people did kind of put MIBR on the back burner a little bit. I know that I did, at least anyway. Like personally, I put them on the back burner and thought, I'll deal with that when another time, come back to it at another point in time to have a look at them a little bit more in detail. But it's definitely opened my eyes up a little bit. I know they've got, like, I think we spoke last podcast that they've got two newer additions to the team, Turtle and
Was it Woody?
Woody,
at the
yeah.
time?
Woody. And I kind of, like, again, put it on the back burner because I thought, well, we need to see how them two players kind of grow into that squad. But after seeing them a bit more in group stages for Blast, like, I'm going to be keeping them on my radar a little bit better, to be completely honest with you. I don't think they got the world ranking that they deserve at the moment. But, again, like, it's like one of those time will tell stories. Brazilian CS is great. Let's say that just in case we get any Brazilian fans listening to the podcast. Please don't flag my Twitter up. I think Brazilian CS is great, and I think watching it grow when you've got new additions coming into a team like that, it's going to be interesting from a commentator's perspective. That's all I'm going to say about that before I dig myself in too much of a hole.
You could tell Nick hasn't watched many of the matches because I don't think Cello's
Cello
been
has
playing
not
this
been played.
tournament.
Cello's not played this tournament.
We've got one of the academy players.
BRDSN, or whatever his name is.
It's BRENSN.
That's the one.
I thought Cello did play matches.
Nope.
No, he's played matches, but at Blast, they've had one of the. Oh, okay. Well, at Blast,
I don't know.
one of the academy players coming in.
Evidently, I'm dumb as hell, so it's all good. It's fine. Boys, I'm tired. I said this before. This before we even started. I should probably explain myself very briefly. Jammer last week was hungover, right? Or last week. It was last week. Funny enough.
Yeah, we're taking it in
this week. This week it's my turn to be like the letdown, essentially. So all the good information I gave last week is not going to be the same this week. It's going to be like at least 50% worse than it normally is. I honestly God thought that Cello played games in Blast. No, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
I think like because I have seen some of their games, I can talk about the players a little bit.
Crack on. I'm going to shut up. I'm just going to sit here and nod. This is the week that you listen to it and you go, Steve knows absolutely fuck all about CS, lads. He's a good talker. Go on. I'm gonna sleep for 10 minutes. You crack on.
I've been really impressed with Exit, who I believe is their IGL, and like he's just had an outstanding tournament. And I'm not like necessarily from a calling perspective. Like he's had some solid calls, and it's showing from their overtime games and really pushing teams. Like you mentioned, there's some of the games earlier, but yeah, Exit's had a really good tournament. I've actually been quite impressed with Biara NSN as well. Like he might be an academy player, but like honestly, he's been playing better than I thought he would coming into the squad as like a stand-in. But do you have any thoughts, Jakey? Have you seen their games?
Yeah, I've watched a few of them. Like I said, I
felt the nice twist.
I was watching the Na'Vi MIBR game on Dust 2, and it was insane to watch them somehow dismantle the beast of Na'Vi. Whether that's more down to Na'Vi just coming in cold after the player break, or MIBR putting in hours and hours of prep work into actually dismantling the Na'Vi plays on Dust 2. But then I feel like that was the only really good performance that they've had all event against Na'Vi, the team that were expected to win everything. Because then they went on to lose 16-9 against OG, then 16-9 against Astralis. Then they 2-0'd Complexity, but again, Complexity, didn't exactly put up the showing that we were expecting them to with the roster that they've got. Karim coming from Team Liquid, Floppy Jr., JT and Fang, that they should have done a lot better this event, I feel. But again, it's them getting their footing. And then they got slapped by Vitality 2-0, and then they got slapped by us today 2-0 as well. So, it's just one of those things that it's like when I was listening to the cast earlier, Moses and Anders were saying, most people will put it down to, MIBR not being, tier 1 CS, but arguably they are. They made it, they're in Blast, they're competing, they took down the world #1 Na'Vi major winners. So even if it is a best of one, they still managed to do it. And that's not something you can take away from a team.
Yeah.
Out of interest, what maps were they today for you guys?
It was Ancient, which was their pick, and then we won 16-5, and then it was Inferno, which was ours, 16-6.
Christ, 16-5 on their pick.
Yeah, that was mainly due to we played an extremely aggressive defense. Like, we were just pushing everything. We pushed mid every round. We were pushing down B lane and just taking the map control.
Locking down B ramp.
Yeah, it was aggressive. It was honestly just scary to watch. I think it was a 14-1 half.
Yeah, 14-1 half.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So they got one round on T side.
Just to add that to the list of things I need to watch before bed tonight. So I've got the Navi MAP. I've got that, and then I've got the Blast Ready Up documentary to watch as well. I'm definitely. Again, today, the 6th of February, when we're recording this, I haven't watched any CS because I've spent about 3 hours in bed just scrolling through TikTok. And yeah, I know it's the worst thing ever. Just like scroll. Speaking of scrolling and aggression, change subject for a brief moment is the Pasha fight.
Oh,
Are we gonna?
okay,
Should we talk about that? Can we switch to something I actually know about rather than this? Rather than me digging any more tunnels and little ditches for me to bury myself in on Blast, if that's all good with everyone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, do you want to talk about it, Nick? Or...
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it. We can't show it obviously because of copyrighted.
Yeah.
DMC. It wouldn't be DMC, would it? DMC's music, whatever the copywriting for video thingy.
Just copyright infringement.
Did you have to pay for the fight to watch it?
Yes, pay-per-view. It was like
was it really?
£7-8. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I'll just pay the £7 and we can play it then. It's fine.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. Vitala used to stream on Twitch, can't you? Yeah, I mean, we can watch it obviously here to get all 3 reactions. I think it's probably the best way. We've linked it to you already. So I'm going to load up the tweet now, and I think we'll just watch it live as it happens if my computer will let me. So this is the knockout. And you can tell this guy has definitely recorded fights in schools before because the camera is shaking constantly.
He's a trained cameraman.
Is he really? No. The guy. I was going to say, yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. Just to fill silence. For those that don't know, Pasha, is. Yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown of this guy's history. Actually, Pasha was originally a builder in Poland. And this guy manages somehow to work his way up to the best Polish squad in Europe, contending in Counter-Strike from 2014 to 18, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And then after kind of taking a leave after that team kind of died, he's now been in his first MMA fight. And he's insane storyline. That's some builder from some random site on Poland is now across the nation's TV sets through the magic of esports and MMA and everything. So yeah, congrats to him on his second round knockout against Michael OKWK. I'm not even going to pretend.
I was going to say I didn't want to be the one to try and pronounce it. I was
Michael. There you go. He beat Michael.
We got Michael. Yeah, Michael. Okazak. I believe is how. But either way, though, I mean, watching the knockout back is he's done really well. In fairness, it's okay. So this is a controversial topic to really run through, but you watch the YouTuber fights, and you're sitting there and you're going it's not really boxing. Do you know what I mean? You just basically slap each other with open arms.
Fights, yeah.
It's not really boxing. Do you know what I mean? And then you watch the KSI fights, and KSI, in fairness to him, and I'm going to say this now, and there'll be people that disagree and people that don't agree, but KSI's genuinely trained himself to be a boxer now. It's gone from being the exhibition type thing to being, he could potentially do proper boxing, rather than being just fight against a YouTuber who trains for 6 weeks and knock him out or whatever. When you watch those sort of ones, you're it's not really boxing. Do you know what I mean? The Logan Paul Mayweather fight, you're it's not really boxing. Do you know what I mean? The guy was paid to take a take a dive. You know what I mean? Like,
You
not
can
paid
tell
to
that
take a
amateur
dive, but
fight.
like, yeah, you can tell it to tell it. But when you're watching that back, like, Pash is getting some licks in, but he's also getting well and truly slapped as well. Like, he's not. There's no like pulling of a little bit of weight behind it. Do you know what I mean? There's like it's as in your face as you possibly can get. Something that you fetched up early on though is the sponsorship stuff. I really hope you put a screenshot of something of some sort in at
I'll
this
put
point.
something up. Yeah.
It has to be like the fact that he has the Kinguin logo on his back. That is absolutely 100% businessman all the way through and through. Like, how Kinguin have got that into his contract, I do not know. Or is it because of Liquid? Because he streams now for Liquid.
Yeah. So
Isn't he?
on the you know when they do the call outs and they give you your titles like Money, Mayweather, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They actually said like representing Team Liquid is like Pasha and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
really?
No
So
way.
yeah,
That's
it
cool.
was great.
Like, esports making its way into mainstream sports. You know, like that little bit of a crossover. I like that. But yeah, the sponsorship stuff is incredible. I don't know if he has it or not, but I think that is a sticker. But there's a tattoo of a dragon lore on him, or like a
So
stick of a
it's not
dragon lore.
they're not tattoos. They're you know how you can get those kind of like temporary tattoos from chewing gum wrappers that you wet and put on. I think they're
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
Okay. Because if not, that's dedication. That is, like, do you know what I mean? Like I've got a bottle cap there, which you can't really see. I'll send Jammer a picture and you can put it up. Like, I've got the bottle cap with Reapersteve in the middle of it because of a stupid bet. But like that's dedication nonetheless. If you have like an entire dragon or D-Lore tattooed on you, like, I've got a $5,000 CS:GO skin tattooed on my body for 150 quid or whatever. Like, it doesn't. But yeah, that's like watching the knockout there. I mean, that's legit. As legit as it possibly can be.
Yeah.
Get him in UFC. Go on, bring it all the way to the top. Someone
I'd pay for that
pass the
pay-per-view as
match.
well, to be
I'd pay
fair.
for that. Yeah, same. I'd pay for that 100%.
Should we pivot to the Pro League Season 15 groups?
Certainly.
Okay. So Pro League Season 14 was Navi winning, right?
Yeah. Yes. I want to say yes, but I will Google if need be.
It was Navi, yes. Vitality second.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would hesitantly say we might see a similar matchup moving forward. Maybe OG or something in there. But anyway, Group A is going to be G2, NIP, Entropic, Fnatic, Mouse, and looking for Org with some players that we've never heard of. Group B is Vitality, Virtus.pro, FaZe, Furia, Ents, and Sprout. Group C is Gambit, Liquid, Godsent Big, Movistar Riders, and Party Astronauts. And then Group D, to round things off, is Navi, Heroic, Astralis, Complexity, Evil Geniuses, and AGO. So should we start with Group A?
I think you've got a really good group there, Jakey. To be completely honest with you, mate, I'm saying this as if you're the collective of G2, but like, I think you've got a tasty group. NAP is going to be good. A good matchup.
NAP matchup's always going to be good. You know, we've got a good rivalry with them. Entropic, you know, the nothing to shake a stick at, but they. I've watched them through many Blast qualifiers in the past, and you know they've got some power behind them when they want to get going. Fnatic could be a dark horse, you know, if they get things going for them. I don't think they've had any officials yet, have they? This year?
They have.
Big up the Smoothie massive. Sorry, just every time that Fnatic is mentioned, I have to say it. I can't help myself. It is what it is.
They got last place in the FunSpark Ulti tournament. So
that's right. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, Entropic, no, they didn't play against them in FunSpark, but like Entropic are one of those sort of sides that they do play quite a lot. Like the what's the other one called? Elsa Internationals and FunSpark tournaments. They seem to be like culling teams in that at the minute. Which is why, again, I agree what you're saying about them, Jakey. They are like a dark horse one to watch for kind of thing, because I think them culling the amount of teams that they've been doing in tournaments like Elsa and tournaments like FunSpark, and I think they did Prem as well, and a few other tournaments. They've just been like grinding gears and like building up. So I think they're definitely one to watch out for. Mouse as well.
Mouse could be interesting with the addition of MBK.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he's going to bring to the role, because obviously back when he was on Vitality, he was more of a support player and
Mhm.
second IGL behind Apex. Well, I was actually Alex at the time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
I'm not expecting a lot out of them. I think
No.
we'll see glimmers from like Torzi and Frozen. Maybe BMAS can be a bit clutch, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. Group B, I think
That's going to be a good
Vitality.
group.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Vitality, VP, yeah, Phase as well. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Sprout and Ents are the two kind of
Well, I
two
mean,
mystical ones there
Ents
for
did
me.
make it to the IEM full final against Nip.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that might have been
lost.
an
yeah.
outlier though.
Yeah, but they still had a good run. They had some.
Yeah.
They had some scary games behind them, so you never know. They could. Oh, they don't have Doto anymore. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be a big.
I'm not sure what to expect out of Furia because they've
Yeah, that's what I
been...
looked at their roster before. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I guess we'll see if we've got some new Brazilian lineups and things that can come out on top of them because Furia kind of cemented themselves as the top Brazilian team, but now we're moving into Group C. You've got Godsent who are actually rising pretty quickly. I think they're right next to each other in terms of the rankings, and Taco has surprised me with like his calling style because I think it's a bit unorthodox, but it's been working for them. So props to those guys.
The other one to look out for in that one is Bigger Movie Star.
Have
Yeah,
Movistar
Big have
really
been looking good.
done too much recently?
I don't know about Movistar, no. Not seen them.
I think the ESL last year. Trying to think of what else they did last year because they did loads last year. I know they did a few ESLs, but it was like ESL Spain. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like ESL Nash global kind of
Yeah.
ESL. It was more localized, like their own version of Masters. I know they got knocked out of
Movistar,
Major by Heroic.
I can't remember that far
Or
back. But to be
no,
Movistar are like what endpoint is to the English scene or to the British scene, Movistar is to the Spanish scene. Like
yeah,
they're kind of top dogs over there, but they don't really do anything internationally. I do rate the big pick though, because Searson is looking
big
hot.
shots fired by
Captain
that
is
comment.
back
By the way,
into
I know you're trying to brush over it very quickly by changing the subject, but that's some massive shots fired at UK scene. But okay, yeah.
And actually, I can't talk about it, but there is some big plans in the works for some of the UK teams, should we say?
Yeah.
Actually, I can talk about some other stuff later to do with that. But yeah,
Let's focus on
Searson has
this.
been
Yeah.
popping off. Like I think Searson, if he continues this form, like he's gonna be like top 15, maybe even top 10 player at the end of the year. But that's a big if. But yeah, moving into Group D, Navi, Heroic, Australis, Complexity, EG, and AGO. I think I want to see what Heroic have been doing in this downtime that they've had because I don't know, they have a really good roster, but they've just not been performing very recently. Like
I've always got a soft spot for the Danish, for Heroic. I mean, like the entire Danish side. I don't know why I always have, but yeah, I think the downtime will always having downtime is great, and also like it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Really, for teams, you can have downtime, you can prac, you can do loads of other bits and pieces. What are you laughing for again? Every time I open my mouth, every time I open my mouth, like
it's just the double-edged sword thing. You just like flip into
I
caster
love,
mode.
I love, do yeah. It's the only way I know how to at the moment, like how to cope with things. It is a double-edged sword, as much as we'll laugh at that sentence, that comment, because
Yeah.
you can prac as much as you want to prac, but the minute you're in a live game and you're going up against players, like Navi, for example. I mean, if you like taking top of the group, pracing's great, but when you go up against someone, like Electronic, for example, a bit, and they do something completely different to what you pracked for or pracked against, and it blows all your little techniques out of the water, you're screwed. Like you haven't got anything to back yourselves up with. Or it could be that you've had that time away, you've had that time to do boot camps, you've had that time to remold the team around each other, and you come out on top and you come out swinging. I don't know. Time will tell for Pro League for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We haven't got long to wait. At least, anyway, it's like less than a month now, isn't it? Next month, March 10th, 11th, 9th. Yeah.
March 9th, yeah.
9th, March 9th. Yeah, we haven't got long to wait and see with them, at least, anyway. Complexity and the evil geniuses.
Yeah,
Not to bring back to what we talked about earlier on.
No, I think like EG have got a weird problem when Rush and Automatic, the two players that took a huge break for months, are the best players right now. But we'll see them come back, I'm sure, and Complexity the same. I think Grim and Floppy will need some adjustment time before they become stars again.
Are we picking group winners out of these 4 groups?
I don't know
we
the
want
format.
to pick group winners?
What's the format?
I think it's just regular round robin. Play everyone once.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, 4 single round robin format groups.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Or do you want to come back? No.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay. All right, we're gonna go full meme picks.
Okay.
Fnatic beat Group A, obviously. Then FaZe Group B. I'm actually gonna say big Group C over Gambit and Liquid, and then I was so badly haunted by Na'Vi not turning up early on in Blast that I'm gonna go heroic Group D.
Jakey?
I
think we know what Group A is going to be.
G2, yeah, for Group A.
Yeah.
If we continue the form we're on, have to agree with FaZe for Group B. Vitality have been looking strong, but they're also shaky at the same time. So,
yeah.
Gambit ended the year not looking too great. So, you know what? I'm going to say Godsent for Group C. I think they're going to come out and surprise some people. And then I'm going to take Heroic Group D.
So I'm going to go against the grain entirely. Group A, I think Entropic are going to be ones to watch out for definite. So I haven't failed with them before. When we talked about Elsa, I picked them and they managed to steamroll through everyone in that. So I'm going to go for them again. I agree with FaZe again for Group B. I think Vitality needed a little bit more work in tying out some of the creases. Group C, I agree with Jakey. Gambit had a bit of a rough end to the year last year. Big, maybe, from Group C. I don't know about Godsend and putting money on them just yet, but Big, I feel they've got a bit more going for them in Group C. Group D is the hardest one to pick from, really, isn't it? For the top 3 teams that are in there, from Na'Vi, Heroic, and Astralis. Complexity and Evil Geniuses don't come into it for me at the moment. Neither do AGO. I'm gonna have to stick with the Danes and go for Heroic.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't think you can include Astralis in that list anymore. They have some work to do, honestly. I think it's a matter of time before they get knocked out of the top 10.
That's why I went for the other Danish team.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm not gonna have a go at you for it. Super quickly, the Pinnacle Winter Series 2 teams have been announced. Obviously, this isn't as big of a tier tournament, so I guess just pick out any highlight team that you want to talk about from these squads, and we'll just have a little chat about them.
Let's talk about Endpoint being in that regional invite lineup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few good teams in there. You've got 0-0 Nation, who've picked up Cold Zero.
Yeah.
They've shown some exciting things again through Blast qualifiers. One win, I've seen them perform a few times. They've got Flamey on the roster now, and he's obviously a legend in the CS:GO scene at this point. Endpoint, I wouldn't surprise me if they do, well going forward. Avantgarde, I've not seen that roster before, so that'll be interesting to see how they perform into it. And then you've got Mad Lions and Team Spirit. Also, Pact are a team to look out for. I've seen them doing some big things in the lower tier scenes.
Looking for Orc again in that one. Again, APOC rings a bell from somewhere, and I can't remember where. But then I don't really watch that region. Do you know what I mean? Not all that much. Other than the tier 1 teams, I don't really look for anything out of that region personally. NA and EU is one thing, CAS is another, but Oceanic region, I don't vibe with. But I don't think not through not liking them, it's just through just not knowing enough. And I can already feel the hate that I'm going to get from one specific caster that is a good friend of mine, or good friend of all of ours, actually. Yeah, I'm going to get absolutely chewed out at Epic Land if he's going to Epic. I know I am already. I just opened up a can of worms there.
I hate to interrupt, but Astralis have just been beat by Big, and I've just put a picture of Glaive, and he looks completely defeated.
Oh, he's destroyed.
And that is not something you are used to seeing from, one of the most cold-faced people in esports.
Yeah.
My God, he looks devastated.
Yeah. Literally a year ago, he's heralded as the best IGL to ever touch the game. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Honestly, I'm interested to see what changes they make, because Glaive talked about the struggles that they're having, and like they know their performances aren't good enough. So I think they might try like blame F, like mixing in with some of the calling and seeing how that goes. I'm just guessing with that, pure speculation, but yeah, I don't know what the answer is for those guys. Config needs to do something about his form, but it is what it is. Returning to this, I'm going to talk a little bit about the invited teams. I think Apex is a dark horse with Steeko.
There's one team out of that list that we should talk about in a bit more detail. I want you to skip them because they're the next one in the list, if that's okay.
Okay, the Swedish teams.
Yeah. Well, just the one Swedish team.
Okay. The highest rated team actually in this entire kind of set that you're seeing is K23 with Norbert and all those guys. So they've got a pretty decent chance of winning the whole thing. Skade have been doing well recently. We casted them not too long ago.
Yeah.
Of course, Eternal Fire, the Turkish squad, they've not really done anything too impactful in the top tier of scenes yet. Don't come after me, Turkey. They've not done anything yet, but they're climbing up there. They're climbing up there. Yeah, Forza as well. Some really good squads here. I think we'll see kind of how the tier 2, tier 3 scenes of CS fall out from the teams that do well in this kind of tournament.
Pick up the Dignitas boys though. Like, come on now, if you're any kind of like an old school CS fan, Forest and Freiburg are like, they're the reason we're here, for some people, kind of thing. So seeing them, play together or play again in a tournament like that is gonna be pretty interesting. I haven't really watched much from Dignitas personally, but I think I'll be watching Pinnacle because not doing anything with them, so I may as well watch it, right?
Yeah, I think you might be sad to hear that Freiburg has not been doing well, but I think he's calling, so it's forgivable. But
doesn't matter if they're not doing well; they're still like the Hall of Famers.
Still kicking about.
Like you could be the worst player in the world, but as long as at some point, throughout like early days of CS, you were incredible. That's all that matters to me.
It sounded like. Do you remember the first episode? You sound like Jammers with Kenny S now. He's just got like red tinted glasses, not even rose tinted.
I'm gonna leave that now. Actually, if Freiburg's performing extremely poorly, then we're fine. Yeah, we're not gonna go down that road. I just think it's like I love seeing old school names pop up. Do you know what I mean? Like the original guys that I started watching CS. Sorry, the original people that played in big tournaments, like made these mad plays, these massive moments that we all look back over in like YouTube compilation videos 10 years later. I like seeing them still within the scene and still playing, and still doing numbers in some way, whether they're performing poorly or not. Playing in tournaments is still playing in tournaments, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Yeah, we've actually cleared that pretty well. We got through like pretty much all of the CS news within like an hour, which actually by our records and standing, that's pretty good. So I guess
the whole idea, the idea with the podcast was like hour 20 minutes, talk about news, then we do a 20-minute like fun bit at the end. Last week when we were like approaching hour 2, no, it was that hour and 45. I was just sitting there going like, when are we going to go into the fun stuff? Because the fun stuff is like, we should have been doing this like 20 minutes ago. What's going on here? So yeah, that's actually incredibly quick for us to get through all the like major news. I'm still looking at that picture I've got on my other monitor, and he looks destroyed. I hope we can use that, by the way, for the video.
I'll edit it so it's fair use. Anyway.
Yeah.
yeah, I think we can move on to kind of like free roaming a little bit now. I know I've got a quiz. I also have some personal life stuff to talk about, I guess.
I can't believe you got
Because
a quiz.
of course I've got a quiz. What do you mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, yesterday my girlfriend was actually announced to be one of the content creators for Coalesce.
Nice.
That's been something that I've been working in the background for like
Mhm.
literal months now. So it's good to finally be able to talk about it, and that's also partly the reason that I was under the weather last time we were recording. So
Yes.
yeah, it's good to finally be able to talk about that, and hopefully things go well, with everything on that side of things. And the other bit of personal kind of news for me is I got a job. So the background that
Yeah.
you see behind me is probably not going to be there after the next like half dozen podcasts. It'll probably be different, yeah, at least, or at most.
Or should be
So yeah,
different.
yeah, that'll be interesting. Not gonna dox myself or anything, but yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's gonna be fun to actually become like an adult and do work and taxes and all that kind of stuff.
It's great.
But yeah, do you guys
It's
have
the
any
best feeling.
personal life updates that you want to talk about, highlight?
Jakey, I'll let you go first.
Um,
Great host.
I
Thank
don't
you.
think I've got too much going on right now. Obviously, I'm going to Epiclan at the end of the month, so it'll be nice to see all the CS lot there, and catch up with everyone and see my main man Maru. Me and him get on really well. We love working together,
Oh,
so
perfect. I was going to ask
great
that
to see
question.
him again.
Is Maro doing the observing again? Because he was
Yep, he's
class
back
last
on
time.
observing, so
Perfect.
hopefully there'll be a few improvements to make your guys' lives easier when we're doing stage stuff. If you two are back, obviously, I still haven't found out who's even casting for me this event, so
I
still
can
working
answer
on
that
that.
one.
Go on.
Yeah.
So I am back with Epicland for this epic. But we have a reduced stage schedule.
Yes, I've
So
seen that.
which is great. I'll be honest with you, because I kind of spoke about this in streaming. Oh, my other life thing. I've started streaming again 3 days a week. So I now have like an actual schedule. The main reason why it started to happen is because me and Jammer have kind of like gone through this thing of, we used to cast like 4 times a week, more or less, every night of the week for ESW. More, let's say every night of the week, like at least 3 to 4 times a week for ESW. We've now got a bit more space where we're just taking on bits and pieces that we want to work within on project wise. Like we did the Isle of Man thing last weekend. We wanted to work on that project, so we're taking that project on. So, we're kind of like shifting things around. It's just made my homework schedule kind of free up a little bit more. So I started streaming 3 days a week, and I kind of talked about this last time round. But like when you, so I come from two different worlds, right, within esports. I come from the world of doing commentary and you know like production hosting, things like that, to then also doing stage hosting and like content drops for Twitter and Twitch and now TikTok, which is really wild. But like when you work for a company, but like some of the companies I've worked for over the years, and I'm not going to name names because I'm about to badmouth one of them at least anyway. Like when you work for a company where you're on stage for 13 hours straight and there's no breaks, there's no like time off to go do go for a piss. Do you know what I mean? Like basic things like that, or like me back when I was still smoking, being able to just take like 10 minutes, come off stage, go for a quick cigarette, grab a coffee, come back and like crack on. You get into this like really rundown phase of it where it would take me like 2 or 3 days when I got back from an event where I would just be like, no one talk to me. You're like, I want to chill out. And Epic has always been one of those sort of events where I don't have that happen to me. But now that we're even more reduced on stage schedule, it means that I'm a bit more freer to do more esports stuff. So I've managed to like bend Gump's arm again somehow. I don't know how I get away with it every single time and ask him for me to do commentary. So I will be gracing your screens for CS at Epic, which I'm kind of looking
You
forward
forget
to.
that's still my choice.
Oh shit! Yeah, it
I
is.
decide on who casts my mate.
Bastard.
Nah, you'll be back. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah, I seem to like I've convinced Gump. Now I realise I got to start convincing you to give me slots. Oh, by the way, I need to when the stage schedule finishes, I need to send it to you so you know when I am and where I am, kind of thing.
Yes, that would be great.
But the reduced stage schedule is like great, like perfect, exactly it's what we all wanted from a content side of things. It frees us up to do other stuff. Like, I can't talk about some of the things we have planned because, like, all the ideas are internal, and there's some stuff that's out there, but not all of it, kind of thing. But there's some stuff that we've got like cooking up that will give us more of an opportunity to do in future lands as well, because of the reducedness of the stage schedule. Like, it's so difficult. Like, you'll know from production from CS, Jakey, it's really hard to fill from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. and fill all that time. That's like a big old long segment of time to fill in. With CS and with games, it's easier because you've got like best of one. It's going to take an hour, or it's going to take hour 15 up to 90 minutes. Call it. Do you know what I mean? If you want to go like the full technical side of it, best of three, it's going to be 2.5 hours, maybe a little bit more, depending on OTs. Like, you've got that worked out. But then when you're on stage and you're going like, start at 9 a.m. tomorrow, breakfast and chill. I have no idea what game I want to play for breakfast and chill. Okay, well, I'll play Lego, and we'll do like Lego Star Wars for an hour and a half, and then you're like 10 minutes, then change over to the next show. You just can't fit in like the bigger things, like the 2-hour segments that you want to do, where you want to do like, you guys wouldn't have been able to see it last time around because of CS work, but we did countdown, the Epic Ruins countdown. Big segments like that we've always wanted to do, but never really had like the opportunity to do it. So I think this time around it's going to be a lot easier to fill those bigger segments in. Yeah, I'm back at Epic. That's pretty much like the bigger sort of news of it. And still streaming. You can watch me on the links below if Jamal puts them in the video or something. I don't know, whatever he does.
Okay, yeah. Add the list longer. Why not? But
that's fine. You were a pain in the ass last week. It's my turn to be a pain in the ass this week. Okay? It's how this world works.
Yeah, I won't be coming to this next Epic because I was still going through the kind of interview process for the job that I've now secured, and I wasn't exactly well. There were a couple of jobs where availability would have been a problem. So yeah, I'll be at the next one whenever that is. But yeah, I'm actually like really kind of well, it was my last Epic the last time I went, and I was surprised at how much of a sense of community there was, because obviously I'd only ever heard of Epic up to that point. But yeah, honestly, like, if you're listening to this, even if you're not really into gaming that much, like, it's well worth, having at least one opportunity to go to an Epic and just kind of experiencing it, like talking to new people, because yeah, it's a really awesome weekend. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to come to the next one. Fingers crossed.
We like briefly talked about it before the stream started, because like, again, I'm not chilling and throwing stuff out for Epic because it's Epic, and this is my like going into my third year working with them. There's loads of stuff they've got planned coming up as well. Like, me and Jakey were talking about the luxury land, I think it's Luxland or something like that they called it. I don't know the official
Lux.
Epic.lux. Like, I'm even looking at that as a punter and going, do you know what? I could do with a 4-night stay in like a decent hotel with a decent bed and like room service and the full Monty kind of thing. And I'm looking at it going like, it's actually looking like a really good idea, to be honest. 50 quid a night, I think it is, for the hotel for a single occupancy. So that's like 200 quid for a weekend away with the boys playing games all weekend. Like, who could ask for anything more than that? But like, I got asked to go to Stratland. I don't know if you guys have been to Stratland before.
I've not been. I know of it.
Yeah,
it's run by the guys that run Insomnia.
Yeah, so it started by the guys who are running Insomnia through multiplayer, and then it's kind of like turned this hybrid thing. But a really, really good friend of mine, like one of my best friends, her dad helps like kind of run it as well. Or he does loads of bits and pieces with it, at least. I don't know if he helps run it, maybe not like the technical word for it, but he's one of the guys that's involved in it quite heavily. And we went to one pre-COVID, the Christmas one. There's a video, and it'll never see the light of day outside of like friends seeing it. But I'll send it to you at some point when I get access to it. And this just, I've never been so drunk in my entire life. I was horrifically like drunk on the last night. And there's videos of me where they've like videoed me trying to climb upstairs and stuff like that. It's horrific. But anyway, like it's a really relaxed atmosphere land where you don't have like in Insomnia, you have like the market aspect of it, right? Like you're in one hall where you play games, and then you can walk into the other hall where it's all like buy merch, buy, this mouse mat, buy this, like there's the whole sales aspect of it. And like Stratland is very much just come and play games, get pissed. And if you go to the Christmas one, there's a Christmas dinner, and mate, best Christmas dinner I've ever had in my entire life. While sat at my desk playing, I think it was like Far Cry or something like that, and I just like tucking in, mate. I'm gonna have to make Christmas dinner this week. It's terrible. Yeah, I got asked to go to that with friends, but I just couldn't get the time off work. But I'm really hoping to do like the smaller kind of like relaxed lands rather than working a LAN, because it like you'll know this, Jakey, through working Insomnias and now working Epics. Jammer will come to realize this in like a year's time after he's got a few more under his belt. There's nothing quite like not working a LAN, where you can just go there and like be a punter, put your feet up, and be like, I'm not going to take my plate away. Someone else can do that for me. Like,
there's technically not been a LAN that I haven't worked yet.
Have you not?
Yeah.
I went to.
Oh my god!
I think I-61 was my first. Or was it? Maybe no, actually, I-63 was my first. I-64 and then I-65. All I was volunteering at. And then obviously COVID hit, so they got cancelled. And then I started working Epic Online. And then, yeah, I worked Epic last event. So there's not been a LAN that I've gone to where I've actually been able to, sit back and enjoy it and, just get pissed and not have to worry about anything.
So we're definitely doing the luxury LAN then. I take it. Like,
yeah, I think
that's
it's got to be a do. Got to be a doer.
Yeah. I did Epic. I did Insomnia I-58, 59, non-working. Went as a punter. 60 through 60, whatever the last one was. 63.
65 was the last.
65. Worked nearly all of them, doing casting in some form or doing like production stuff in the set, not production, like hosting stuff. Never with Insomnia, but with like third parties, if that makes sense. Like I get paid to be there by the guys running buses, or I get paid to be there by XYZ, or streaming for like I streamed last time for Intel or Dell, whichever one it was. Like I was like streaming for them on their stage, little mini stages, stuff like that. Like, and then Epic, I went to work with, did 2 LANs. COVID hit, and I've done online since. So, but yeah, there'll come a time where you'll just sit there and you'll go like, I need to go to one just to be a punter and just relax. So I think the Lux one is probably going to be the one for me. I've blagged on way too much here from an Epic standpoint, but it's more because I'm trying to save the viewers from having to listen to me and you do the quiz, I think.
Well, we can shitpost about this new topic that I put in. Oh, a voice
break.
Oh
my days! Yeah, I've seen it.
Or we can go to the quiz. It's up to you.
I kind of like this new topic. To be honest with you, that is a massive shitpost. Who? Okay, this isn't. I thought there was HLTV that posted this, but it's just some random dude.
No, it's just a forum. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can tell I'm shitposting when you go to HLTV forums.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we're shitposting on someone else's shitpost. This is great. I love this part. Best all-time country in CS:GO.
So what this is a compilation of the best players from every kind of majorly like important CS team. So I guess we can start in the order that they've kind of gone in, and talk about what kind of roster we would put together. Say like the 3 of us would amalgamate into, I don't know, the richest like game managers ever to exist. What players would we pick from these squads?
Like all of Sweden, basically, for me. To be completely honest with you. Like JW, because he might be cheating, he might not be. Who really knows? Same for Flusher. He might be cheating, but who really knows? But at the same time, it's all good. Device to pre, mate. This is such a really hard. This is way harder than probably the quiz would have been. I think we made a mistake. Yeah.
Okay. How about this?
Okay.
Each of us picks like a region or like one of these countries, and then we'll like put together the best team that we think is. I'm guessing, Nick, you want to go for Sweden?
Look at that France. Sorry, I'm just like I'm listening to you, but I'm also looking at look at that France lineup as well. Zyru, Kenny S, Sharks, Apex, MBK, Happy. Oh my God. I don't want to. Like. There's so many good names within all these names. Like this is actually probably one of the first times I looked at a HLTV forum post and gone, "Well, this guy's actually got some level of intellect." Not in a
He's not
bad way,
0
but,
IQ.
like, yeah, do you know what I mean? Like he's actually put some decent thought into the players that he's putting on. He's not just gone for the meme thing of being like, "Ha, you know, like
5 times simple or something.
yeah, Ukraine simple and nothing else." He just like he's actually put players in there that are like he's even put question marks against his own players as well, which seemed perfect. I don't know. I think this is one for a guest rather than for a host because mine would probably
God.
change on a weekly basis. So let's just throw it straight on to Jakey and be like, you can pick 5. Actually, I'll be kind. You can pick 6 players from that list. Your 5 main starting, 7 players, 5 main starting, 2 benches.
That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
That is very tough. Okay, well, I'm going to start off with Fallen.
Oh, okay. That's his incoming G2 lineup.
No, when I fell in love, simply because when I fell in love with CS:GO, it was during ASL Columbus or Cologne. I can't remember which event it was back in like 2014 or 2015. And it was when they were the original, Coldzera, Luminosity Gaming roster, and they were basically the underdogs coming into the event. And I remember I was watching it in a Discord call with friends at the time, and every game I was watching, I was like, they're just going to come back and win this. They're just going to come back and win. And they did it every single time. And I just fell in love with CS:GO, professional esports CS:GO, from that moment. So, Fallen IGL/AWP. Let's have a think for let's find a good entry role. Got to be Nico for entry. Nico is one of the most insane entries, I think, behind Simple, obviously, that you've got right now, and even then, Simple's not purely entry, is he? So, support role. Let's have a think. I'm actually going to go Mezzy for support role. I think he plays a good support role on when he was on Endpoint, and now on Fnatic. Yeah, I think and Mezzy for. God, this is actually really tough.
Yeah.
Wow. Just trying to think from many years of CS:GO. Oh, there's one player that I'm thinking of, but I can't put the name. The name won't come into my head. Let's go with Stewie 2K as well. I like Stewie's playstyle, and he's also played with Fallen in the past on a few different occasions.
Yeah.
Flusher as well. So that's what, 5 out of 7. Dupree.
Okay.
Yep.
And then Snacks to finish it out.
That's
I like that.
Stacked roster.
That's a really stacked roster.
I mean, it probably wouldn't work.
I know. There are a few egos in that roster as well.
Definitely.
Like, definitely a few egos to contend with. You need like a really proper, strong coach to be like, shut the fuck up, get in the server. You know what I mean?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I like that though.
Nick,
Jammer,
I'm gonna region lock you to EU, mainland EU.
Mainland EU.
Yeah, so like West
France,
West EU.
yeah, West EU. You're not going to include Poland in that.
No.
I hate you so much. I actually Yeah, I'm
You
not
just pick the
happy.
That's
golden
not
five.
too bad though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
mean, there's
can
still
make a
loads of
really good team. I'm gonna
options.
region lock myself to NA, so I'm gonna
Are you
making
really?
it going hard mode, bro.
Sound okay? Here we go. This is the point now where I just pick like an all Sweden squad, basically. You know what I mean? Like just all Sweden. I don't know. I mean, like it's a difficult. It's a hard question to ask, and I'm kind of like I'm glad we asked the question, but I don't know because mine would change on a weekly basis, Jammer. To be completely honest with
Yeah,
you, I think we're
I know.
both fully aware of that. And like this
You need some
is
time to think.
no, I don't need time to think. I just want to lock myself into this conversation, and then all of a sudden I'm like having to scramble in my brain to figure out like which teams worked right and which teams didn't work right.
Imagine that they're just gonna work for the honeymoon period, and we'll see what happens after.
Okay, well, I mean, all right then. EU region locked, but just man based. Okay. I'm only going to pick 5. I'm going to pick the 7 players, but I'm not going to pick them based on their position. I'm going to pick my top 5 players, and then the 2 sub players that I would have underneath. And the reason being is because there's a couple of players that I'll end up naming, and they actually could play different roles. Like, and do you know what I mean? And like, I don't want to be like JW can only AWP. You know what I mean? Like JW is an AWPer, but like JW could do quite a lot of other things. But by the way, JW is my first pick. I should probably just add that into it. I know I've gone straight in with a Sweden pick, but like you're gonna hate me for it anyway, so it may as well hate me now. Config.
Okay.
For a second pick. That's because of you, that is, more than anything.
Oh really?
Because genuinely our conversation like 2 months ago, wherever it was when when he give away sort of yeah. When he came back into the swing of things.
He broke his wrist at the airport.
Yeah. How do you break your wrist at an airport? There's a story behind it. Yeah. MBK.
Okay.
Forest. That's what 4 that is.
Yeah.
I definitely can't pick from Poland. Okay, well, Rain as well if I'm not able to pick from Poland. So that's 5. 2 more. Are we including UK in that, or is it just?
I think UK is West Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, but you said like,
we're not talking about the EU. We're talking about the continent of Europe here.
Okay, all right, calm down. Brexit means Brexit, right? I would put Smooya in there somewhere as well, also because like Smooya. At the end of the day, I think he could fold into any side regardless of what he's doing. And because I literally just because I can't pick anyone from Poland, and like I think to be honest with you, if we're talking all time players, I would probably pick Pasha if you won't let me. Dupree. I've already said Dupree, didn't I? No, I haven't said Dupree.
No, you haven't said.
I said Dupree.
Yeah, you said Dupree. Yeah, I think that'll be my 7.
Okay. All right.
Come on in, NA boy. Let's see what shit post you can make with North America. Because you've got Canada. Actually, no, Americas. I'll give you that one.
Americas.
Yeah. So that's like Canada, America, Mexico, like the full shamanka. It's a very Welsh thing, that word is, by the way. Apologies if I've said it a number of times. Shamanka basically means everything. Like the full shamanka. There you
go. Alish, Naf, Twist.
Ooh.
Tariq, Rush, Fallen.
You seem to like put in a. You've had this up for ages, haven't you? And you've just sprung this on me and Jakey at the last minute.
You guys gave me time to prepare. I'm just going to rattle them off.
Yeah,
like...
it's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly,
not in there.
No, like. Wait. Oh, I've got one more slot, don't I?
Yes.
I'm going to put Steel in there. Unbanned Steel.
Yeah, just unbanned. Actually, yeah, unbanned Steel. Yeah, I'll give you that one. Unbanned Steel.
Yeah, but
Post
yeah, the reasoning
post
behind that is
post
like,
ban Steel, my favorite streamer of all time, by the way. Just throwing it out there.
yeah, obviously you've got. I think almost all of those guys have played for Liquid, barring like Tarek. But
At one point or another, yeah, they would have done.
yeah,
Not
that
at the
was
same time as each.
that
Well,
was
one or two
coincidental, but
crossovers. Yeah, would it be
yeah,
one or two
and
crossovers where they
Steel,
played with each other? But yeah, and Steel. But
yeah, but yeah, honestly, I think that roster could probably rock any other roster that you could put together from this list. But yeah, I'll put up a screenshot of this list or something. I'm gonna
yeah,
quickly transition to the quiz though, because I want to see how you guys do.
I can we we'll make this a feature. By the way, I think this is a
Okay,
really good feature for future guests. But it also means like Jakey asked us earlier on, what's the topics for today's discussion, and we both just went. Just talk about the news, to be honest with you. Like, it's a really relaxed thing. We've tried to be like super relaxed with this and not have a format, but I think we do need to start having a little bit of a like a format with it. I think this subject is probably one of the most controversial ones you can come up with because there's so many different options you could potentially pick from. I mean, like the fact that Shroud wasn't in your list for NA, that's upset me, to be completely honest with you. You can't pull that face. Like, anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on before this gets
Before
into, like,
before
much
we
of a conversation.
before we move on to the quiz, did
Right.
any
Yeah.
of you see the Monacy clip today?
No,
Which one?
Link it.
Come on, the Monacy clip.
Okay, hang on. You put it
You
in
obviously
chat.
have not seen it.
I'm
You've not seen it.
I'm pausing. You let me know when you're ready, gentlemen.
You need to watch it. This clip that comes
Okay,
out
I'm
from
ready.
a 16-year-old.
3, 2, 1, go.
That doesn't actually show the full
It
clip.
froze.
That doesn't even show the full clip. So 1 second, let me get the blast
my
one
God.
instead.
Okay, I'm stopping this then if we're not going to watch this one.
Yeah, let me get the blast one.
Get the last one. I want to see this because I've just watched like that first bit was.
Yeah, I thought
whiny.
our clip actually included the full sequence, but it doesn't.
Okay, this is a minute 28. Jammer, let me know when you're ready.
You only have to watch
ready?
the first like 45.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, play. We should be right to put this in the video as well, by the way.
Oh, okay.
That's insane. That first no scope is just unbelievable. Oh.
He doesn't have the time for the
Surely,
no, he
just
can't
give
do
it
it,
to
I
him.
think. Oh!
Yes!
How is that possible? What an absolutely godlike sequence from Monacy.
The one thing you have to notice is before he gets the second kill, baits out a plant.
Yeah, he does.
Bait out that peak from CT. And then still manages to get the third kill. And this kid is 16.
That's such a big brain.
That is something special.
Yeah, okay.
That's a
So
special
I just
Yeah.
wanted to drop that in there before we move on to the quiz.
Just
Yeah.
sprinkle in some GC hype. I see how it is.
Come on then, let's
We should
get
just
on to
call
this
this
quiz.
one like into
Okay.
overtime, the G2 episode.
It hasn't been that G2 focused.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. In fairness, it hasn't. I like that clip though. 16 years old. That's
Okay.
insane.
Yep.
Go on
Yeah.
in. Sorry. You just
okay,
answer
so
questions and we can answer.
yeah, 15 questions, 10-minute timer, and we get a score out of 15 at the end. I
Okay.
think.
It means Steve
Well,
working together on this?
Yeah. So
Okay.
like, I haven't seen the answers. So if you guys are split, I'll be the tiebreaker.
Okay.
All right. We'll start from now. Okay. When was the R8 Revolver released? 2016, 2013, 2014, or 2015?
When was the what? Sorry, released.
The Revolver.
The R8.
R8, 2016. Christmas, I think.
You happy with that, Jakey?
What were the other options?
2016, 2013, 2014, or 2015. So any year between 2013 and 16.
I think it's.
I'll go with 16.
Christmas
I'll go with
time.
16 too. I agree. Yeah, 16.
I'll give you context. CS was released in 2012.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't that close to release.
Okay, well, I already know we're wrong on that one.
Oh, was it 2015?
It was. Oh, I can't go back to it. All right. Well,
Oh, right.
I'm sure it'll show us at the end. How much people maximum per team in a comp match?
5 in each.
Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
5.
Easy points. Skins were released in 2013 in an update What was that update called?
Oh my god.
Do we get
So the
options for
options
this?
are
Yeah.
2015 Winter Update, Operation
No.
Hydra Update, the Arms Deal Update, or Operation Vanguard Update.
Armsteel.
Yeah, arms deal.
Because
Yeah.
the skin crates were like mega expensive. They still are, I think, actually.
Yeah. Which one of these maps is not a hostage rescue map? Assault, Vertigo, Militia, or Italy?
Vertigo.
Vertigo.
Yeah. Okay. Which
Hate
one of
that
these
map.
maps does not have an objective? Oh, okay. Which of these maps does not have an objective, either planting the bomb or rescuing hostages? Lake, St. Mark, Shoots, or Office?
Shoots? I can't remember because there's one. No. Give me the list again, or give us the list
Lake,
again.
St. Mark, Shoots, or Office? I think I'll give you a 50-50 and tell you that it's not
Office
Lake
is,
or
yeah,
Office.
office definitely is. I know
Yeah.
that.
So it's either St. Mark or Shoots.
I think it's Shoots. I
Yeah,
seem to recall
isn't-
one
isn't
where
Am-
it was like a team deathmatch type.
I'm pretty
map.
sure Shoots is played an arms race, so I'm gonna go Shoots.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
What is the most expensive case? The Hydra case, the CSGO weapon case, Operation Bravo, or the Spectrum case?
Between Bravo and Arms case. Oh, Bravo, I would say.
I'll follow.
Never.
Next. Go on then, Bravo.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's it's one of the OG ones. So like the rarity just means it's expensive.
Yeah.
I can tell I used to
how,
stream CS.
how much do the dual Berettas cost? 600, 500, 400, or 300? I know this one, so I'm going to
Recuse yourself.
recuse myself. Yeah.
They used to be 500. They got dropped down to 400 not too long ago. I'm pretty sure. So 400.
Yeah. I'd say 4 as well.
Yeah. Okay, which one of these skins is for more than one weapon? Death by Kitty, Fire Serpent, Dark Water, or Golden Koi?
Golden Koi. I think Golden Koi is a
Do you
Deagle
want to
skin.
try and name what those weapons were?
I think Golden Koi is a Deagle and an AK or an AWP.
Okay.
I don't know though. I'll let listen for Jakey.
What was the second option?
Fire Serpent. So I'll Death by Kitty, Fire Serpent, Dark Water, or Golden Koi.
So Fire Serpent's AK.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything else.
No.
Go on, we'll go Golden Koi then.
I'm
Are
probably
you
wrong.
sure?
That's a wrong answer.
Yeah, it was Dark Water.
I've never even heard of that
Oh,
skin.
It's
USP
the
and M4.
M4.
No.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
kind of like grey, silvery, blacky kind of like camo print. I think MBK uses it.
Oh,
What is it
I'm on
called when
Dest
you
was
walk?
it is.
What is it called when you walk slower because you are hit with a bullet? Is it called tagging, kill feed, hit marker, or aim punch?
aim punch.
Aim punch.
No, it's tagging.
What?
Tagging? What?
Oh,
You
aim
didn't,
punch
you didn't
is
hear
when
the
you
question properly.
aim
Yeah,
punch is when you're aiming. Yeah,
yeah, your crosshair gets
Oh,
knocked off.
Okay, yeah.
technically the same thing, but
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd give us a point for that one.
Okay, which map had the latest revamp? Dust 2, Nuke, Inferno, or Train?
Dust 2. Actually, no, wait there. No, I thought it was Dust 2. Like, as in live play. Because Train's not in live play, the active...
yeah, but Nuke's been reworked so many times. DOS 2 is how much are
DOS 2
you
is most
how
recent.
much are you classing a revamp, because we've had the wall added in CT on DOS 2.
Yeah.
So is that classed as a revamp, or are we talking like Inferno, where
It's like reimagining
old Inferno to new Inferno?
Yeah,
I
like
think
Cash.
good context to know is when this quiz was made, and it's not actually listed. So
fuck.
I'm just going to call this one a buy round.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick Dust 2 or Nuke?
Just
Okay, yeah, Dust 2. There you go.
okay, we take it. It was the wall added then.
Oh, this one might catch you out. How many units per second can you walk with a USP in your hand? So there's 240 units a second, 250, 230, and 245.
I have literally no idea. No, this is a guess for me if I'm going to
Go,
guess
go,
at it.
go through them again, sorry.
So there's 240 units per second, 250, 230, or 245.
I'm going to say 245.
You happy with that?
I go with
Nick?
that. Yeah, I have no idea.
You were very close. It was 240. 245 was there to throw you off, I think.
Ugh.
I've already. Well, okay, I've not actually thrown this one. When was Global Offensive released? This one's going to be a bit. You will know out of
It's
3.
something like August 27th, 2012. Something like
Okay,
that.
listen
Yeah.
to the answers. The 21st of August 2012, the 19th of August
Oh,
2012,
come on!
the 21st of August 2013, or the 25th of August 2012. We can already draw out the 2013 one because of what I said earlier,
I
but
already knew it was 2012 either way.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 2012
Oh
is...
my! As if they put the dates that close together. At least change the
What were
month.
the dates again?
21st,
So-
19th, or 25th.
Yes.
21st rings a bell, to be honest with you.
Yeah, let's go 21st.
Yes, that's correct. The only reason I know that is because whenever Zyru's in a game and over the 20th anniversary, people were harping on about how he's the chosen one because he's born on the 21st. It's the same day and everything.
Oh,
Anyway.
okay.
Which of these skins is part of the classified rarity? The CZ75 Auto Victoria, the Scar 20 Crimson Web, the AK-47 Elite build, or the Desert Eagle Hypnotic? Just to give you guys a bit of context, classified is pink.
Red, pink.
Pink.
I've
pink.
had all of them at one point or another.
I've got no idea.
Should be,
I'm not big on
should be getting this
skins.
one easy then.
Elite build is a blue.
Mm-hmm.
Hypnotic is purple. What was the other two?
CZ75 Victoria or the Crimson Web Scar 20.
CZ.
Yeah,
I think so.
you're
I'm
wrong.
just going.
It was the Hypnotic.
Was it really? Ah,
Yeah.
mate.
Good job,
I've
Nick.
had that.
How many rounds one is required to win the game in a comp match?
1st
16.
to 16.
There you go.
Unless you're doing a short match.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
are we talking short or long?
Yeah, it's true. Okay, last question.
Mhm.
How much does a Molotov cost? 600, 400, 50, or 300? And it can only be one of. Wait,
400, isn't it?
it depends what side you're on.
No, one's called a Molotov.
Oh,
The
right.
other
yes,
one is
incendiary
called
one.
an incendiary
Okay,
grenade.
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm pretty sure the Molotov is more expensive than the
think it's 4.
incendiary. Wait, no.
Other way around.
No, wait, yeah.
30 seconds.
400, I think.
I think, yeah, I'll go 400 too. I don't think it's right, though.
Yeah, it was 400.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, so going through, we got 67 and the average is 61. So good to know
An
that our
average.
experience in esports has given us a slight edge.
Mate, honestly though, who the fuck knows how many units of movement there is for a USP? Like,
To be
who
fair,
actually knows that?
if you did like KZ or movement at all, like
Yeah,
that's something that
surf,
you'd probably
anything
know.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
Perhaps I should. Would it make me a better player?
Maybe. Yeah, actually, probably, yeah. I'll recommend that. Coach Jammer
Okay.
approved.
Yeah, there we go. I'll do that.
I think the
Cool,
only
you
one.
say you laugh
Oh, go
about
on.
Coach Chandler thing though, but like genuinely, there's a clip on my Twitter that I'm happy for you to use. I'll send it to you if you want to put it in the video.
Right.
Where Jammer's watching the stream and he's like, "Why the fuck do you keep flashing down into what's it called?
B stairs on Vertigo.
B stairs on Vertigo. Yeah, why are you flashing down for? Put a molly down, and like 2 seconds later, I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Go over, put a molly down, get 4K out the round, and I'm just like, I hate it when he's fucking right, but he's always fucking right, like, every single time. Like, I just like, fuck.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Coach
Well,
Jammer. What was the other one you were going to say though from the question? Sorry, I interrupted you.
I was just gonna say the only one that we didn't know that I wasn't able to like correct was the R8. It was released in 2015. Funnily enough, so yeah, interesting.
Fair enough.
It was Christmas time, so it was going to be 15 or 16 really, because it was at the end of the year. I remember it being I think it was released like Christmas Day or something along those lines. It was. I just remember the controversy like surrounding it when it first got released. Fetch back the old days of R8. That's what I say though. People probably around in matchmaking like they're on crack with with the R8 just smacking heads from like the entire map away from each other.
I know you guys won't be able to watch this. I should have shared this with you guys earlier. I completely forgot. Like this was earlier in the week that I watched this, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. We can talk about it."
Oh, Vu, yeah, I've seen some of his other videos.
Yeah. Basically, this video talks through some of the like balances and changes to the game that he would do to kind of fix things because things are a little bit still janky. I'll talk through some of them, or at least the ones that I can remember. So, he said that the AWP is still a little bit too impactful now, and that's kind of like highlighted by how the HLTV top 20 list is like dominated by AWPers for the last like 5 years or so. And so the fix that he had for that was reducing the ammo in the magazine to 5, and that would kind of like prevent AWPers from like getting mad highlight clips and spamming through smokes. There's a bit more punishment that you can do there.
Yeah.
I just kind of do you guys have anything to say about like apart from agreeing with that one?
I agree with that. I mean, like, it's always difficult from like a content perspective, right? Because like that's what we're there for, is to provide content when we're talking about clips and we're talking about these mad moments that happen in a match. Reducing the ammo count to 5 would force all players to make better decisions with the positions they're putting themselves in. Like the spam through smokes would pretty much stop indefinitely, more or less. Like you'd probably get like one or two nutty ones every now and again, but it wouldn't be as frequent as we get them at the moment. And I think having the reduced ammo count will put you in a position where you're not going to have like AWPers taking mad risks, like on Nuke, do you know what I mean? Taking mental risks sitting outside because they know they got the ammo count to be able to spam a shot after shot after shot without getting caught on a reload. So I kind of back it in one way, but also from a content perspective, I'm like, fuck, it's going to be really, droughtful as from an AWP content side. I don't know about you though, Jakey. You're the man that makes the magic happen when it gets on the screen, of course.
Well, primarily I AWP when I play. I'm not like a super flashy AWPer. I'm just hold an angle, wait for someone to peek, move, switch angle, and so on and so forth. So I feel, when you're playing that sort of style, a reduction in mag size wouldn't make much of a difference. But yeah, when it comes to, the flashy players that like to, just endlessly spam and stuff like that, then yeah, it would make a difference. But I don't see how reduction of magazine would make a big difference to how impactful the AWP is. Because let's be honest, most AWPers these days, play the style. You're 9 times out of 10, you're just sat watching an angle. You get a pick and then you switch angle and watch a different angle instead. Basic style AWPing. So I don't think reduction of mag size would make too much of a difference impact wise.
Okay. I will slightly play devil's advocate. I think it won't have a huge impact, like you're saying, but the impact it would have is kind of like it would kind of cause teams to start counting things like the amount of bullets that an AWPer shoots at the start of a round, and like using that as like a kind of an internal timing of when to pressure them. It's like if you know that Simple is AWPing on CT side Inferno and you hear him shoot 2 shots at the start of a round down middle or something, and like you're close enough to be able to pressure him, then you might pressure him with 3 guys, like just try and count on the fact that you might miss one of them or something. I don't know. The other change that we could talk about is the economy change that I put in Discord. And it kind of incentivizes basically not saving so that it's a bit more entertaining from a viewer's perspective. And I think like if you're gonna like fuck with the economy in any major way, it's going to need like real thorough testing and things like that.
Yeah.
But I do like actually agree with trying to like rejig the economy to make it more entertaining, because the amount of saves that we're seeing come through, especially at the top tier scene, it's like on Inferno, it's like save city half the time.
Mhm.
Like rejigging it would make it a bit more exciting. But yeah,
It makes CT economy much more interesting to manage.
yeah,
I do rate that though. I rate the losing 4 rounds in a row into losing 5 rounds or more in a row. 3,400's tasty. I think if you're gonna mess with it, though, I agree with you what you're saying. If you're gonna mess with the economy, you can't mess with it too much without putting a PTS in play. Do you know what I mean? And having like a public test server set up where people can go in and be like, "This works, this doesn't work," and
yeah,
I think we're all fully aware that that's not something that Valve like to do, where they put a public test up, because that's usually where other things are found and they aren't fetched up in conversation, where you have these magnificent boost spots.
yeah.
But having a PTS for rejigging the economies, and yeah, I mean it would be a good idea. I don't know what you though.
Yeah, no. I think it would be interesting to see. Also, one of like you guys can talk a little bit more extensively about this one. How to balance the FAMAS, because right now it sucks, and you like a lot of people would rather use an SMG over it. Like, how do you
Mm.
fix that?
I don't know if you really can. I mean, like the FAMAS has always been one of those guns for me where I don't go for it.
I
If I've
think
got
I think one thing that the FAMAS has in the form of the burst fire, maybe increasing the accuracy on burst fire a little bit, because obviously right now it's not entirely amazing, but maybe giving it that gimmick, of that it already has of the burst fire, and taking that and maybe making the spray of the burst a little tighter, and making it easier to get 2 body shots in out of 3 could boost the usage of it. Other than that, I don't really see many other ways of making it much better. I mean, you could increase the fire rate slightly, because it's a pretty slow assault rifle compared to the M4A1S and the M4.
Yeah, I mean,
Other
can't
than
even
that,
like
yeah.
you can't even make it more viable with making it cheaper. It's like $2,000, right? Like it's hardly anything when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But then you buy an MP9, and the amount of money you can build up from an MP9 like outweighs it. I feel like if you have that, if you give it some sort of like force multiplier, having that extra rate of fire would be pretty nice. I know it does decent damage. Like, don't get me wrong, it's just you can't fire it variably unless you're firing it on full auto. And then even when you're doing it as full auto, you're doing it as a 3-round burst anyway, or like 4-round burst. You're not really like you're not spraying and praying, with it. You're kind of taking your time with it regardless. But you just don't use burst because there's no point in using it. You may as well just switch it to full and pray for the best kind of thing.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like me personally, I always go for an SMG. I very rarely go for FAMAS unless someone dropped me a FAMAS. I probably wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, okay, so fixing the horizontal recoil and obviously buffing the burst, I think, are the only changes that needed.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
So yeah, in terms of, you mentioned the M4s before. I think one of the suggestions he made was to invert the prices of the 2 M4s, so that the A4 is 2,900 and the A1S is 3,100.
yeah,
Seems like a pretty like reasonable standard buff that probably should come
yeah,
through with the time to kill statistics.
Mm.
Um,
yeah. I'd back that as well. I mean, like that makes perfect sense. That does.
one of
I
the
got no qualms with that at all. To be honest with you, thinking on it.
Yeah, one of the like really interesting ones, like I never played Source, but I'm guessing you guys might know about the kind of like revolving spawns that are kind of fixed in Source, where you'd have consistent spawns, but like on kind of like a revolving treadmill, like every 4th round you'd have the same spawn.
Yeah,
He said bring in that like back around so that there's a bit less random variation. Like if you think about like Dust 2, that's completely based on spawns. If you
yeah,
know, like say in the 3rd round of play, like the rifle round, that they went for a long rush, they got long spawn, and you know that in 4 rounds time they're going to have that again. So it kind of adds to the tactical depth of the game. Um,
Yeah, it was far easier to read into teams that you're going up against in like a matchmaking perspective in Source, because you did have that kind of aspect of like, okay, well, like on Dust is the ideal example because of what you just mentioned a moment ago. Like, you know, they're going to be pushing into A because they've got an A spawn on this round, like, or you know, like they should in theory have a decent A stack for this round. Okay, we know that we killed them all in the last round. We've won that round, but then they should now have the economy to buy up into SMGs and push in. You know, like you could add more tactical depth into it, technical and tactical in a way. I think people are way too used to the current mechanic of it though, where it's randomized, and I think it would be interesting to see how tier 1 and tier 2 players react to it. Matchmaking is always going to be matchmaking. It doesn't matter anyway. Someone will say, "Oh, you're going to be spawn," but you haven't. But like, I think tier 1, tier 2, you know, like your players that take this game properly seriously. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt to it, how quickly they adapt to it. I think your old school players that have played Source and then transitioned into CS:GO will like find it simple. You know, it's no issue. But your guys that have only ever really been brought up through CS:GO, they're going to find it trickier to kind of manage the extra bit of work on top to think of the next 3 rounds. Commentators will enjoy it though as well, because it means that we can then go, well, we can add more depth to the story. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot more depth into it. You two had like this Twitter thing yesterday. I only caught like a couple of minutes of it. I
The
think
break between games.
yeah, like Jakey, you retweeted something and then you commented on it, Jama.
Yeah,
Um,
it was. Sorry, go on. You
and you were
take
talking about the storyline of how you build the story as a
Oh yeah, that one.
commentator. And I'm like, you know, people just seem to think that we just sit there and talk about random bollocks until something happens on screen, and then we talk about that for 10 minutes. But in reality, like I can speak for me and Jammer. I can't speak for every other commentating duo or solo commentators that work regularly with someone else. But we actively go behind the thing and look for trends in how these teams have played against each other. We were really fortunate to work with the guys from Isle of Man last weekend. They gave us a shitload of information to work through, and they've even come back to us afterwards, haven't they, and said this is the stats for like this entire tournament, so you guys have it. You know, like there is a lot of work that goes into putting that storyline into play. Hell, a perfect example of it is Epic Land, and you can both back me on this. At least 90% of the commentators that you watched at Epic Land had a tablet with them, and they would be writing stuff down. They'd be going to like, you know, this is how this worked out. This is how this round worked out. You know, and they would be jotting stuff down as the games progress throughout the day, so you could build a storyline as we get towards the end of it. As we get towards the end of matches, it made me buy a tablet. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I've been putting off for so long. I think having something like that, to bring it back to the subject at hand, having something like that come into it would allow us to build a better storyline over the longer period as well. Just be like, okay, well, they got battered first 3 rounds, but we know in round 4 they've got a better chance because they've now got economy to work with. Now they've got this chance of pushing into sight because they've got this spawn first. Yeah, it'll help. Sorry, I derailed it massively there and then brought it
Oh
back
no,
to
you're good.
task. I'm
Yeah,
starting to
and
wake up,
then
by the way.
there's 2 other changes: quicker map rotations, which I think is like a universal thing that's needed. It's getting a bit
Yeah.
stale.
Yep.
And then making the kit $200, which I thought was actually pretty interesting.
It'd mean that people will buy it more.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would kind of incentivize people to buy a kit even on like eco pistol rounds and go for those ninja diffuses, and like we'll get some crazy like moments from like rounds 1 because of kits. Like even you might remember the simple diffuse on Inferno against Complexity not too long
Yeah.
ago, where he like ninja diffuse against the whole of Complexity on an eco when he had a kit. It would create some more of those kinds of scenes, which is awesome.
Historically, it was 200 in Source, and it started at 200 in CS when CS:GO first began, and then it's like prepped up to this $400 mark. And I think dropping it back down to 200 would definitely mean that you'll have more players buying into it in first round. Like there's always that nightmare, isn't it, of CT first round, you know, on the second half, for example, and you're sitting there going like, fuck man, we need to dig deep into this round and like win it. Do we buy a kit? just in case, or do we go full stack with utility? Like that would negate that conversation straight away, right?
Yeah. I think my camera has slowly been dying over the course of this podcast.
I heard a beep there a minute ago, and I thought I was playing CS for a minute. Bomb was going to blow up any second.
I'm not sure if that was actually me or not, but yeah, I mean,
Might
we'll
be
see how
me.
it turns out on the edit. But
Yeah.
I think we've kind of gone over the time limit a little bit there, a bit of more of an analytical episode. But again, thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks for coming in and like hopping in with us, Jakey. It's been a long time coming, but yeah, like hopefully we can have you back on.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and I remember when Steve messaged me back in. God, I can't even remember when he asked me. But no,
take a knife out of my back, please. Someone, Jama threw me under the bus. Now Jakey's throwing me under the bus. Yeah,
I was going to say it's been a long time coming. I've been waiting and looking forward to it. So, thank you very much for bringing me on, and I hope I wasn't too G2 biased.
No, you weren't.
I tried not to be.
That's what we have you here for.
Yeah, I like we laugh and joke about stuff. Like, we've all got our favorite teams. I think that's like the easiest way of putting it. And you're in a position where you work for your favorite team, and that's like, that's probably the most ideal situation possible. Like, I know guys that are in the industry that work for teams that they've not really followed, but they've got the job there because they've applied for a job and got it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've just gone for it because they want to work in the industry. Whereas you've got the best of both worlds. You applied for a job because you like the team, and now you work with the team. So like that's so it's great to see. And like, talking about it is perfect, and you can hear it when it comes across when you're talking about how things materialize. So it's brilliant. And you haven't been too G2 heavy at all. I was just really massively surprised that we didn't just have a G2 lineup when we asked that question.
Yeah.
Like,
next time you're on, bring the G2 banter.
Okay.
Yeah. Next time he comes on, you have a G2 banner behind him.
Yeah.
I'll get a green screen and get some famous G2 clips going, and
but it has been a long time coming. We do have other people lined up for guests. I can't remember who the next person was going to be, but it was going to be one of your friends, one of your people.
Yeah, I have people in the backlog, but I can't confirm right now with that. So
I've used up all my favors now.
But yeah, I guess that was Into Overtime episode 4.
Before we finish, Jakey, if people want to know more about you,
oh yes,
and they want to see what you do on a daily basis, and they want to catch your musings and everything else, where can they find more information on you?
So my personal Twitter is at JakeyBoyPro. I have that name across all social media. I am starting to sporadically stream again, so I've kind of been getting into that and enjoying the streaming life. So whilst I'm playing, if people come in and talk about G2 and esports, I'll happily have a conversation. So if you want to come in and have a conversation about CS:GO, Rocket League, anything, because I do have a lot of information about how our teams are performing and everything like that. So it's always nice to talk about, and I've really enjoyed the social aspect of streaming, having people come in and chat and finding out about their life and how they're getting on and stuff like that. So it's really nice to do. But yeah, at JakeyBoyPro on pretty much any social media, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. Those are the 3 primary ones that I use. So yeah, if you want to find me, that's where you can.
Cool, perfect. Yeah, that has been Into Overtime. 1 hour and 49 minutes as far as my recording shows.
Likewise.
So we are getting to the point where we're breaching faster and faster towards that 2-hour episode mark. But from me, at least anyway, if you want to see what I'm doing and where I'm getting up to and whinging and everything else, I'm at Reapersteve1 on Twitter, and then just Reapersteve on Twitch. It's probably the easiest way. If I've killed you in EFT this week, you'll know who I am because my name is Reapersteve in there as well. So sucks to suck. Jama, what about you?
Just find like these guys' links and my links down below. I'm not gonna plug anything. It's not necessarily, but yeah, that was. Unless you've got anything else you guys want to say.
Nope.
No.
Again, thank you very much for having me on. I really enjoyed it, and I hope we get to do it again soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Maybe
into
after a big CS tournament, maybe something like that. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, I've keep derailing things. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go now. I need to go to bed. I'm knackered. Good night.
Go rest up.
Ta-ra.
Into overtime episode 4.